Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Corey Canine Massage's blog series. My guest today, again, is Marybeth Haines, animal communicator extraordinaire. And hi, Marybeth. Please, a lot of people have seen the interview that I had with you before, but please reintroduce yourself and introduce yourself to our new viewers.
Oh, thank you for having me here. I've been looking
Absolutely.
forward to reconnecting. I love this. I think it's amazing. So, really happy to be here. So, hi, everybody. I'm Marybeth Haines. I'm the gal who speaks with animals.
Mhm.
And what that means is exactly what it says. I have a passion for animals and the humans who love them. And when we unite together and when we can connect with the beautiful sentient beings that we call our friends, our family members, the animals in our lives, we can take our relationships to a new level and we can expand our consciousness. We can learn, we can grow, and we can evolve into have an amazing life. Animals have come with so much wisdom to share with us. So really happy to be here connecting with you all again.
Lovely. Okay, now this time around, we asked those who follow us on social media, our friends, our colleagues, if they had any questions in particular for this interview. So, and some came in. And so I'm going to ask some of these questions verbatim. We begin with sort of animals in the spirit world. So let me see what the first question or series of questions is. Okay, are they with us in the spirit world? Are they sharing the same space as us? Or do we need to go get them in order to visit?
Okay. Great question. Great question. Um, Number one, I, in this lifetime, have not been in the spirit world that I can recall. So for me, knowing about being there personally, having experienced it, I cannot speak from that. But what I can share is what animals have told me, what they've shared with me, and my experiences with animals that have been in my life that I have been able to connect with in spirit. So can you break that question down again? What's the first part of it?
The first bit is, are they with us in the spirit world?
So as soon as you say that, I'm hearing in my head very loudly all the time, all the time. So let me expand upon that. I do feel animal spirit with me. I did call upon them to join us for this interview. So what I'm hearing from them, and this is great that they're coming forward to answer this question. What I'm hearing from them is that they are in a, so I'm hearing the word separate. So they're saying to me that we as humans feel that it is a separate realm that they're in. They're confirming that yes, it's not the physical realm, it is a spirit realm, but we as humans tend to make them so far apart. We
And they're
feel
not.
that they're so far apart, and what they're saying is that we're not far apart at all. They are saying that it's a minimum of 3 feet above where
Okay.
we are, and they are saying that it is sometimes higher. So it just depends, but it would be minimum 3 feet above where we tangibly see the physicalness around us.
Okay.
They're also saying that it's very easy for them to, what we would say, they keep wanting to use our words so we can understand better. What we would say is to travel back and forth. It's like a blink of an eye. It's like, boom, I'm here, boom, I'm back, boom, I'm here, boom, I'm back. And it's so easy for them. So they absolutely are with us. They absolutely continue to be with us. Now, one of the things that animals have told me many times is that when they do go into spirit, they, depending on how they departed the earth, right? So sometimes if they had an illness or there was a quick or traumatic passing or something like that, animals have shared with me that they uh, often receive healing when they um, make the transition from physical to spirit, because this healing is something that will assist them in the detachment of the physical into spirit. And so I've had animals talk to me about healing temples that they go to, and these beautiful beings that are there to help in the healing aspect and to support them with that transition. They also will go into spirit. Sorry, I'm just going with, it's funny because I'm on a trajectory here of talking and I'm hearing them talking as well. So I'm putting this all together.
Yeah.
Let me just see here. Okay, so they're talking about, depending on how they've passed, there's different things, and they like to be able to continue forward from there. And a lot of that is still visiting their family, and that includes family on earth. The thing that keeps us connected are our souls. We are part of soul circles. We are part of soul families. And so when we are together in that way, even though, oh, they're coming through really loud now. So what they're saying is that even though they may have transitioned into spirit, what they are saying is that they have changed form. They have not changed. So I'm looking at a picture of Mr. Mushi, my kitty, who's in spirit. Mr. Mushi is still very much the essence of Mr. Mushi. He's just not here in the physical any longer. He now has changed form and is in the spirit. Does that make sense?
It does to me.
So, yeah. So what they're saying is we've changed form, but that does not mean that we are gone.
Yeah.
They're saying we have moved from physical to spirit, but that does not mean that we are separated.
No. And they are absolutely, therefore, with us.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Now, some get jobs. Some do things. I've had animals in spirit say that I've had this one, it was a cat, and the cat had shared how this cat was helping children with cancer in their last stages. And as those children were getting ready to transition into the light, this cat's job was supporting the children in being able to do that. So they, even though they're in spirit, they absolutely can be with us, but also they are doing magnificent things for us, the humans, even from the spirit world.
Wow. Just a question from myself. Is this happening at the same time? I guess I'm wondering if they experience time the same way. Is it linear like us? Do they go do one thing and then go do another? Or are they able to break themselves up and spread themselves?
That's an awesome question. And I'm really glad you asked that, because I've asked that as well. And what they have said is there is no time or space. It does not exist where they are when they hear us. So all we need to do to connect with them is to set the intention. So the vibration of me thinking about Patches, who is in spirit right now, the vibration of just me thinking about him is enough to call him forward, to be able to have him hear me. I could say Patch's name. And what animal spirit is saying in response to what I just said is that they hear the vibration. It's not that they hear us like they would hear when they were here on earth. They hear a vibration, they hear a frequency. They're saying it's like a jingle, and they hear the whatever that is, the jingle, the vibration, the frequency, and they know that it's coming from their human, because they have that soul, that spiritual family, that soul family connection is still remaining. And so they hear that in that way, or they sense it or feel it, and then they are able to come. They are able to be in many places at once, which blows my mind. It absolutely blows my mind. My human mind just can't seem to grasp being able to be wherever I want, and then there and there and there. But yes, they absolutely can be in more than one place at one time.
It is very,
Because
very
time and
difficult.
space just does not exist. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's very like quantum.
exactly. And in this physical realm, and our concept of time, I would say it's probably impossible for us in this moment to completely grasp that. I mean, you can sort of put your head around it in just a sort of intellectual way, like this is possible in a different form, but at the same time, it isn't possible to quite experience that right now, so therefore difficult to picture.
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah.
Exactly. So the way that I do it, because it, like I said, it just blows my mind. Like it's just, and if I keep thinking about it, I'm like, oh, it's just kind of like, whoa. I just become curious, and I look at it with curiosity. And when I look at it with curiosity, it changes so that I don't become so overwhelmed with the hows, right? So
Right. Okay, now let me see the rest of that question. But I believe that it has been answered. Are they sharing the same space as us, or do we need to go to them to visit? So we don't need to go to them. They come to us. But is there anything we can do? You mentioned the jingling bell. So what is a good way to call upon them, I guess, would be a good version of that question, or an offshoot of that.
I'm hearing whatever is in the best way for that person.
Okay.
Because if the person thinks about the animal, that is a way that they will sense or hear that vibration. Because remember, we as humans are used to, if I say Reagan, you're going to hear me say it. But if I think it, you might not pick it up as easily, because we're not taught that. But
Right.
animals are different. They always, even on Earth, they can hear our thoughts. That's part of the telepathic communication. And so when they're in spirit, again, it's the same thing. So if thinking of Fido or Fluffy or whoever, and thinking about them, and holding them in your heart, looking at their photo, or even saying their name and calling upon them, those are all ways to do it.
Okay.
But I think the main thing behind all this is the intention. Because I could say Mushi, but not intend for him to connect.
Right.
Right?
It could
I
just come
want
up
to
in a
set that
conversation.
intention.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. So setting the intention is the important thing
Absolutely.
before you do whatever it feels right to you to reach out.
And that's the beauty of this, is that it doesn't have to be hard. It's not like you must do it this way. So here's step 1. And now you must do step 2, because if you don't do it, step 3 is not going to work, right? It's not like that. And that's why it's so nice to have that connection to our animals in spirit that way. So, and we can take all the hardness that our mind creates, the difficulty that our mind creates, and know that it doesn't have to be as hard as we make it.
Here's another question from me. Regarding this idea of soul circles and soul families.
Mm-hmm.
I knew a dog, he passed last year in August. I always felt very close to him. I had sat him a number of times, and he became a character in a book of mine, and probably future books, and we had a connection, but he wasn't my dog, even though he kind of felt like my first dog. Am I a part of his circle, and vice versa still, even though like he has family of his own? his actual immediate family, as we might say here. Yeah, how does it work when they're kind of your friends and maybe not your family?
Totally get it.
Yeah,
Totally get it. So, what was this dog's name?
his name was Alfie.
Elfie. Okay. So
Alan.
when you think of Elfie,
Yeah.
and when you connect with the essence of your relationship with Elfie,
Hmm.
when you ask that question, what comes to you?
Yes,
Yes, what?
yes, is what comes to me. That he, meaning he is a part of my family too, even
Yeah,
though
awesome.
like he has other family. So I take it then that he could visit me too, if like even if I assume animals have a better way or don't think of it this way. I might have been less important than say his mom, his real mom, or you know what I mean?
I do. I do.
Yeah.
And sorry to put you on the spot with saying yes what. The reason why I was
Yes.
saying that was because the more you talk about what was coming through, the more that it assists in getting the answers. So
Absolutely.
yeah, and so even though Alfie might not have been in your immediate family circle, he still came into your life. He
Yes.
still came in as a very special part of your life. It wasn't like you just went to see him every once in a while, or, it was just kind of random here and there. There was an actual repetition of visits together. There was, a connection. There was time shared together. And so we can have parts of our soul families. So again, what animal spirit is saying is that we've got our nucleus, which is our kind of the soul that we are spending this lifetime with, that are very, very close with us. They're in our family. These are humans, these are animals, these are, right? So this is kind of the nucleus.
Yeah.
And then we have outer layer, I'm hearing, so outer layer of other soul families that in this particular life that we're experiencing aren't going to be in our life the same as the nucleus, but
Mhm.
still have a part to play.
Yeah.
And there's a reason why, because there's unfinished business, there's unfinished work that we have to do with these beautiful, wonderful souls. And so, that poem, A Reason, a Season, or a Lifetime, right? I think it's about people and how they come into our lives for a reason, or they come into our lives for just a season,
Yeah.
and then they move, wherever it is, or they come into our lives for a lifetime. They're always with us. And
Right.
so I always think about that poem when we talk about this type of topic, because animals very much in our lives we can still have a soul connection with them, even though they're not our furry or finned or scaled or son or daughter. They could be they could come forward in other ways as well, and still have that wonderful bonding connection.
Right. Lovely. Okay, now there's a little bit more after the initial questions that I asked you to do with animals in the spirit world. Uh, well, this all relates as well. They said basically they ask, are the animals in spirit able to watch over their family? So they are. How is that done? Is it only when we call upon them, or do they watch us anyway?
Yes, yes, and yes,
Mhm.
and yes. So again, from my communications with animals that are in spirit, I often will hear it's not uncommon for an animal to say how they'll sleep with their human at night, especially after they pass. For a certain amount of time, usually around 3 weeks, 2 weeks, they like to stay close. Um, and even though they may be doing other things in spirit, like say they're in the healing temple, or say they're moving forward in a different way, so on their soul's journey, the essence of who they are, and they're still able to be with us. And so I have animals, a lot of times they'll say, and especially during the communication sessions that I have with their human, they're sitting there beside them, they're telling me my paw is on her right knee, or my or they're up on the shoulder, or wherever it is. I think I'm getting off topic a little bit here, but in going back to your question, they absolutely, can you ask again just to make sure that I'm answering it properly here?
Are the animals in spirit able to watch over us, over their family? So are they watching, like, no matter what kind of thing? Yeah.
So yes, but not like they're staring in and peering in and constantly watching us and that type of thing. But they love to watch over their family. They love to still be connected and to come in that way. So yes, yeah, for sure.
A different question popped into my mind. I keep asking questions. I keep coming up with these extra ones. I'm sorry.
Oh, they're great.
It's regarding reincarnation. Mm-hmm. And is it possible for an animal to come back and be reincarnated and spend more time with their same humans, but are they also still in spirit? I've always been a little confused about that.
Right. So what I've been able to learn and understand from the animals mm-hmm. is that so Mr. Mushi the cat, so let me give you a visual here. Okay. So this is Mr. Mushi. Okay.
Lovely.
So thank you. Yeah, he's such a good boy. Mr. Mushi, the cat, spent time here on Earth. Mm-hmm. When he went back home to the light yes. and transitioned from the physical to spirit, his physical body ceased to exist here on Earth.
Yes.
But his soul changed. So the essence of Mr. Mushi, his soul was able to change form mm-hmm. and move into a spirit form. So move from physical to spirit. When he did that, the essence of who Mr. Mushi was on Earth still is, still exists. So when I connect with Mushi in spirit, this is who I'm connecting with. I'm connecting with his personality when he was here on Earth as Mr. Mushi. I'm connecting with his mannerisms. I'm connecting with his love. I'm connecting with all of that.
Absolutely, yes.
So when I ask, has Mr. Mushi reincarnated into another lifetime, I receive I'm receiving the answer, yes. And so my understanding of what the animals have been able to explain to me about this is that the essence of Mr. Mushi still remains.
Yes.
But the soul of Mr. Mushi is not Mr. Mushi. It's the soul's evolution and experience. So the soul has moved on into another body, another life, but the essence and the spirit of who Mr. Mushi is and was still remains. Does that make sense?
It does. It makes him sound like he's two different things, though, but they're linked, correct?
So yes, we are spiritual beings mm-hmm. having a human experience.
Yes.
Well, animals are also spiritual beings having an animal experience. Mm-hmm. And so when the time comes for Mr. Mushi, when the time came for him to transition from physical to spirit, he has reincarnated into another life. His soul is what journeyed him to do that. So our souls are multi-layered from my understanding. Again, I've never been there in this lifetime that I can remember, so I don't know, but this is what I've been told.
Yeah.
And it can get a bit kind of confusing, but our souls are multi-layered and they have many experiences, and that's why they're able to reincarnate into new lifetimes all the time, right? Because it's the evolution of that soul, it's the learnings, it's the growings, it's the what that soul in that animal body, in that human body, whatever it is that they embody when they're in the physical, has come to assist humanity with it, saying they've come back into earth, right, onto earth.
Yes.
And so by doing that, their soul continues forward, but who they are doesn't change. So I'm here as Marybeth Haines, the human.
Yes.
But I also have been many, many other beings in previous lifetimes. What remains the same is the soul that I have within this body. My soul's experience remains the same. What's different is the lifetimes that my soul has chosen to experience. Does that make sense?
It does. It's like having many, okay, if your soul is the core version of you or this animal, over many lifetimes are the layers that it's creating for itself. It's new essences, basically, which remain in spirit.
Yeah, because
Yes, essences remain, the soul continues.
exactly, because you can never take away, you know, Elfie, or you can never take away Mr. Mushi or Patches or anyone. That is part of recorded history. That has happened. That can never be changed, right? We can't go back in time and erase it. So it will always be. And so the essence and the spirit and who that animal was during their time here on Earth still remains. It just changes form.
Right. And another question, that sort of to naturally wrap this up a little bit, once our essence, mine, yours, our bodies end and our spirit moves on, I assume and hope that we reunite with those spirits that are waiting for us or have been watching us in
And
spirit.
and to them, it's like a blink of an eye.
Yeah.
To
Oh,
us, it's like forever and ever and ever. But to them, it's like welcome home.
right.
Right. And it's truly amazing.
Yeah.
Truly amazing. The feelings and the experiences that I've received from humans and animals in spirit in that aspect, it's words cannot describe how beautiful it is.
Yeah. I bet.
Yeah, that just that reuniting, that reconnection in that way. Again, we as humans feel like it's so separate, but once from the spirit world, and what I've received and shared with and from them is that it's like, you know, a blink of an eye, we're back together again, right? Because they don't have the emotions that we have here. They don't have the time that we and the space that we have here. It just simply doesn't exist there.
Right.
I mean, they have things that they wish that they could have done. They have things that they would have liked to have maybe have changed. There are things and desires that they can share. But if they're truly in the light, that stuff that we feel as humans, just it doesn't exist, because the light is pure love, just pure love.
Anyway, pretty wonderful.